tell the truth, I'd rather be staying here for the rest of my life. But on to all the younger people that's leaving, well then we can't stay here too long by ourselves to hope other people.
Pass Island is the latest community in Fortune Bay to fall victim to the resettlement program. For years, the younger people with their grade 11 education and their college degrees have been moving away, leaving behind the middle-aged and the elderly. The time has now come when they too have to go, some of them taking their homes with them, others having to leave them here to rot away with the weather. Not all of the people want to move, although this wasn't a movement that was instigated by the government. There are some who prefer to stay here, but they can't because there are not enough people to stay with them to keep up the community. One of them is John Sims, the local storekeeper. Mr. Sims, pretty well everybody on Pass Island, with the exception of you, is getting financial assistance to move as the place is being evacuated. Now, how do you feel about not being able to take your store and your belongings to the place that you want to go to?
Well, I don't feel so good about seeing that other people is moving and they haven't moved in the past when they have been paid for doing so.
Most of the people from here are going to Hermitage. Where do you want to go to?
I'm moving down to Boys Cove, Notre Dame Bay. My oldest son is down there. He's been down there for 12 years or more. So, and the wife is more contented down there with her own people, eh?
Do you think you can make just as good a living to the place that you want to go to as if you could if you went to Hermitage, where they'd like you to go to?
Well, I don't see any point in Hermitage because Hermitage is a place, I mean, when there's already a lot of stores there, and I didn't feel like going in there and start up a business. And as regards to the Boys Cove, I don't know too much about it, but we're just going there to to give it a trial anyway.
Did you agree with the evacuation of Pass Island, or would you have preferred to have stayed here?
Well, I was satisfied to stay here. If the community hadn't moved out, I was willing to stay here. I mean, I've been here all my lifetime, eh? So I had no reason. I mean, we made a very good living there, and it was really a quiet place to live, eh? If somebody got it up, they was going to move out, so there I had no other choice.
Have you put up any kind of a fight to try to get government assistance with your removal expenses?
Yes, I've been asked everyone I know, Mr. Harnham and the ministers there today. He said he was fighting for it, but he can't do anything about it. It's up to the federal government. So I've been contacting Mr. Jameson, talking to him when he was down there on this campaign. And then I sent in a telegram, and then I wrote him a letter. And so far, I have no answer.
And I think we should really try to get the people to move into the various community where they feel like going, where they can be very contented, and then settle into the community which they select.
You say that you've been in communication with Mr. Don Jameson and the federal government. What kind of response have you had?
Well, that's the very sad part about it. And we have been working on this as last 12 to 14 months. Mr. Harnham, who was looking after resettlement, and myself, we have written Mr. Jameson quite often, and not only that, we've wired him, and we're willing to go to Ottawa and meet with him, or meet Mr. Jameson when he comes into Newfoundland. But at the present time, we've had no success whatsoever. The only thing I know we can possibly do now is probably discuss it with my Premier and probably get in touch with our Prime Minister to see what we can possibly do, because it is getting more serious and a lot more people are getting discontented because we shouldn't, like I said before, help these people and place them in the communities where they like to go and where they can join the various communities and the various things in the communities which they love to do and associate with most.
There are some, like Edward Nash, who feel the move is an unwise one. They think that going to Hermitage is going to be a move for the worse, that perhaps the only thing that they can look forward to is going to be welfare. Mr. Nash says he's lived a good life on Pass Island, and he'd like to finish his days here, but he can't, and so reluctantly he has to move.
It's too good a place to leave. We all kind of visitors to come and see us every time. I look forward to visitors to come and see us. But now we're going to a place now, as far as I'm concerned, we're not going to see no one. No enjoyment at all, whatever.
Could you continue to make a living on Pass Island, though?
Yes, sir. As far as I know, everyone made a living on Pass Island. As far as I know.
Yeah, but what kind of a living?
It was fishing, the fishing with the settlement there, the fishing they make their living on. Nothing, only fishing. And some of the pies go away in the woods to go working, and come back the following year, well, they had the year's pies made. Then they draw their unemployment, and they was all set. Till spring started again, then they go fishing, and go away in the woods the same as they did before.
When you move to Hermitage, you're going to have education facilities for your children, medical facilities, and quite a number of other advantages. Don't you feel that that's something to move for?
Oh, just okay, but we had just as good as here. We had the doctor come and visit us once a week here, and we had our minister come and visit us. We had everything here. Everything on Pass Island was okay. But regarding of Pass Island, I don't want to live Pass Island.
We've had good living since we've been here. In the 30s, it was a little bit bad around everywhere, I believe. It was bad around here then, too. We couldn't get like we do now. But since then, pretty good living.
Have there been many people here on Pass Island who have been on welfare and that sort of thing, or have they all mainly earned a living?
Well, I tell you, in those bad years, depression years, there was most everybody was on welfare. Not everyone, but the biggest part of them. But since that, no one, as I can remember, that unless if they were sick or wasn't able to work, well, then they had to get relief.
Do you think the younger people have made a wise decision in choosing to move away?
Well, I'm not certain on that, because, you know, you can make a good living on this island, but they can still make a living where they're going. They can't make it there in Hermitage, but, you know, they're on the road. They can go where the work is at.
In another week or two, the people will all have moved from Pass Island, those who could taking their homes with them. But left here will be the school, the church, and those homes that couldn't be moved on the government barge. These will be wrecked probably by vandals or destroyed by the weather, much in the same way as the other abandoned communities throughout Fortune Bay have been destroyed. Larry Hudson for Here and Now.